Hello, storyteller. Storytelling Ron. It's an afternoon video. I'm kind of tired. But anyway, let me talk about Bosses of the APOC. I'm just going to talk about how I GM it. And this is really an amazing little experience I've had with a dad and his two sons. It's a pastor, a small church, and his two sons that are 9 and 10. And getting them to say the gospel, I've won, or I'm done. My job is done here. This game, For the Lord RPG, Bosses of the APOC they were playing, got them to actually articulate the gospel. Now, they didn't do it such a great job, but it was awesome because it's the first time they ever even tried. And they're sons of a pastor. This game gets kids to articulate and think about it. And then, of course, I, as the pagans, say silly things back. And they got to, think about it and respond. But they're doing it in such a cool little environment where they got shotguns and they're fighting some giant bugs and stuff like that. So let me just show you. But first, let's hear from our sponsors. The sponsor being me. So I am doing a backer kit. I'm just trying it out. I am doing the For the Lord Christian Space. It doesn't start on Monday. What date is that? In 3 days. August 12th. So from August 12th, 2024. For a month, I'm going to be doing this Christians of Space. The game is done, and it's got 2 heavy campaigns, chock full of maps and characters, and you'll see some of it actually when I show you the APOC thing because it's very interchangeable, the assets. But it's really to help. I'm just want to market it on the backerkit area website. In that forum, and then also try to get enough money to fund these 2. Honestly, I plan on doing this at some point, but boy, I'm considering whether I should keep doing this or just go get I don't know if I'm doing a real job or go GM or do YouTubing. I just to make, I want to do something that makes money. And I love this game and everything, but I want to be able to make money off of it so that I can just, it's not just a hobby. It's like making, trying to push myself to work harder on it and thusly get paid to do it. So anyway, so that's why I'm trying Kickstarter, backerkit. Maybe I'll go back to Patreon. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out a way so that this makes money. And when you make money, you want to work harder on it. You want to work more on it. So anyway, that's what I'm doing. And I'm hoping to make this a big campaign with the criminal syndicate, the global cabal. And then I want to do the stretch goal, which is the Empire, and just flesh that. Now, all these assets are actually already done and in the game, but I want to flesh it out even more and create the planets where they actually reside, and the main leaders of the Empire, kind of a thing. So that's what this is about, is to help fund that, but also to get it out, free of charge as a marketing thing on backerkit, since backerkit seems to be pretty big for role-playing games. Okay. Let's go to this. Look at this. This is what you can get going on a Apostles of the APOC game. This is kind of a hex crawl, or it is a hex crawl, and each of these maps then becomes like a battle map or an encounter map that you then create as a GM. And I really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed that I can create these different hex maps. I can roll them out randomly. I got to roll them out ahead of time and sort of prep them, and then they can explore hex to hex. And there is a sort of finale hex encounter that then builds to a finale, which is where they sort of encounter a big sprawling urban decayed city where there'll be like a larger, sort of empire or kingdom of pagans in this post-apocalyptic setting. And actually that does start here. I rolled it for this hex down here that they didn't go to, and that's the start of the Empire. And then this one will flesh out. I have a different table for the Empire, and we'll flesh out sort of like several hexes of 4 or 5 battle maps with different towns, and build up till they get to like the Emperor or whoever's in charge. Did I roll out? I rolled out some stuff here for it, and this all comes from the APOC rules, and I just put them in notes here for future reference that I can do this. So what did I do here? So the basic hex of a ruined place is it's -2 die ranks to drive in the area, so it's difficult, but you get a +1 die rank to search. If you fail the drive, you can do damage to your vehicle or or just use up fuel or whatever. 1 in 6 chance per hour. Oh, it's supposed to be an H per hour. Use encounter table. So there's a very high chance for encounter. And the encounter table would probably be different for the Empire than in the ruins than for the other maps. Go to Empire Building Guide, Vast Ruins, add secondary beast type, ambush site for beasts or baddies. That's what I rolled. Avian or flying insectoid beasts attack randomly. Hopeless, weak, enslaved, and worshippers of nearby gang or beasts living in hovels. These are things I rolled in my booklet, the rules book, to help me guide me into like what sort of place I want to create. Attacks from a distance if able, draws them to an ambush or hit and run until damaged, then prepares for siege if able. Orlando Ken Space Industrial Rocket Ports. So the area that they've discovered is Orlando, like Florida. So this is sort of so this is just to help me like think about, well, what would I want to have them discover there? Like, so probably Kennedy Space. So probably some spaceship stuff, maybe a Disneyland kind of freak out place, travelways, bridges, tunnels, isolated patrols, lookouts. It's just sort of descriptive of the area. So then the Empire is basically this type of an empire. Imperial warlord as god, magicians, elites, enforcers, willing slave tribes in awe, demonic worship, excessive access to drugs for warriors. So that's the kind of thing I got to figure out as I build out the Empire. But they're actually only have one more game session because the summer's almost over. They're going back to school. They're going back to homeschool. But I we wanted to just do a summer thing with them. So the dad and the 2 sons here have gone up into the mountains here, and they're dealing with some stuff, and I'll show you that here in a sec. But they started here at the home base, and the premise of a post-apocalyptic story is this 100 years after a nuclear winter fallout, and they survived in a Christian prison work camp. Because this is like year 2300 or 2200 AD, where the atheists ruled the earth, and then they all exit off into. They discovered they can do translight drive and travel the stars relatively in no time. But then there was a nuclear war or whatever, and then they got the Christians who got stuck in prison camps because that's where we're headed. Actually survived, and then now 100 years later, the descendants have decided that the radiation has gone down, so it's safe to go out. So now they're going out. It's around 2300 AD. I forgot the exact date, but they've gone out now, and they've gone to these ruins, and they found some survivors, and they converted them to plant a church. And when you plant a church, then ministers come, from the home base, and then come there and run it while they go off and explore more areas. So let me show you this area. And by the way, this one southeast ruins, I don't have this in the rule book. I just created this as my little naming convention for this game, and so I found this kind of handy. 1 southeast, 1 southwest, and 1 means the one around from the home base. 2 is further out. 3, then 4, and I kind of have a vague system here. You might be able to come up with your own system. So in this hex, I have, and if you're doing this on paper, you could literally print these hexes out, cut them out, tape them together. And then this info you could write on the back of the hex if you wanted, or as a GM in your notebooks, if you have a notebook or whatever. But drive test. Oh, this is a ruined city, but I made it a ruined town more than a city. And I didn't roll for the Empire because the only place you roll for the Empire is the city hexes. Hidden base occupied by dangerous or savable. Rare high-tech blueprint or part found. Flees if notices. Cultish priest sacrifices slaves. Zealot warriors. Ooh, I kind of downplayed that one a little bit, but that's fine. I just played it the way I want to do. Considering open to alternatives, may seek more, still cautious, but seeks truth and more. Crabby predators in ruins, and I rolled for some the rare high tech, and I got digipad or terminal. Intellect 32, which is probably I probably made that a little too high. 32, laser weapons. So if they beat the intellect 32 with their research and decoding the digipad, they can get the schematics then for making laser weapons. So that's kind of cool. Let me go to this map real quick just to show you. So up here I have the maps in folders, and these are all the maps I've done. Look at this for this campaign. I mean, this, and they didn't even go to all of them. They only went to, of all these maps, they only went to this one, and they went this way. So these other ones were never touched, even though I have made maps for them. But I can always reuse them. Like let's say they move off in this direction. I can always take this one and then move it over here if that randomly comes up as a arid hex, you know. And I could always move the toxic one over there as well, and use that. I mean, obviously, if they go back to this one, I could just make a new, different one. But because of, let me go to the Southeast Ruins here. Because of, what did I just do? Because the maps, the assets are modular, you can always rearrange these and create, you know, indefinite amounts of hex maps that are about ruins. So they came in here. This is actually their very first encounter. They came in here. They encountered these crabbies up here and fought them and killed, you know, searched around and searched for salvage in the different buildings. They came over here and fought some these they fought actually down in this underground bunker thing. And they came in, these people were hiding in this place which had the secret codes. These things are now here for feasting. But they converted them. They created a church, the Sovereign Grace Church. They now have this as their lair, and then this is their lair, because they cleared this out and killed a big mother worm here, and they found some salvage. And, you know, there's some salvage tables where you can roll and discover different things to use. And this is their transport. This is the 3 characters here. And this one, the smaller one, is just a list of their supplies. So it's just like a character sheet, but it comes up this. But that's in the rule book. And this vehicle is there. These are the ministers that came from the home base and are now ministering this church. And they converted a witch, and she was a mild witch, not like a crazy one. Or they converted her to Christianity, and then they moved on after that. You know, and they got a couple of bonus things out of it. They moved on to the forest to discover here 2E Forest. Let's go to that one real quick. They discovered. I'm not sure if I'm gonna upload the episodes. I recorded them, but I gotta evaluate, because there's kids in it, and you know there's a depiction of violence in it. You know, they're playing this game where they're doing violent stuff. If they aren't doing the gospel in it, they actually did the gospel in this game, talking to the people to convert them at the church. And here's one where they converted these people. They killed all these rats they worshipped, and there's a big mother rat down here somewhere. Let's see, where is it? Where'd the mother rat? Oh, the mother rat. Oh, I deleted it, but it was right here. They put it on the fire. They were cooking it. So they converted them. They built this church. The people did. They brought, and the witch is still there. And the non-priest character, the one of the sons who was not, he's the evangelist, and he's just a fighter. But you know, he went over there and he spoke the gospel to her. Like, he actually wanted to go and try it, just because she was in the cage. He's like wanted to go try to convert her, and he softened her up with his role, so he did really well. And then they left, and you know he was gonna leave her, and she's gonna, you know, and it was just getting kids to just try to say the gospel and try to explain things, and they're doing it in a game. They're doing it so it's fun and silly, and you play the pagans, and I do silly stuff and I react to them stuff. But they get the you know, have they ever had the gospel evangelism come out of their mouth ever? This game gives 10-year-olds, 9-year-olds, 12-year-olds, 14-year-olds the opportunity to do it in a safe space, you know, in a silly, fun environment. And they get to fight rats and creatures and adventure and use their weapons, and they've got a 50 cal machine gun on this thing and a rocket launcher. Let me go to, and they converted it. So this is a church. And they went to the Boglands. This is something cool they did. I was totally surprised. Let me go to this map. So they went along this road here, and they're past it now, but they found these guys in the bogs, and these guys came up, you know, and talked to them and said, we want to trade slaves, you know. So there's the slaves right here, and they took them back to the church in the forest. They fought. They had a little fight with some crabbies in the water, and I could have had more beast adventure here. I could have placed some more, like a wreck out here that they had to go explore, but this went fine. They ended up talking to them. They ended up trading. They gave them these guys traded the slaves, and they actually ended up giving them 2 handguns, and they said, "Yeah, we're gonna go and use them to go raid and get more slaves." Yeah, exactly. What did they do? What did the Christians do? They said, you know what? We can't fight and kill every slaver. We have to, let's try to solve. So they decided with the boys, they're not going to fight these guys and kill them. They could have. They had a 50 caliber machine gun. They could have just blasted these guys and had fun with it, but they didn't do that. They decided they're going to leave them alone, and they're going to come back and see if they can offer them better trading opportunities so that they didn't have to raid for slaves anymore. That's what they were going to do. They went back to the church. They talked to the church. The church was like, we could get more food and trade food with them. And they're like, yeah, let's do that. And like, and that is actually what Christians did in the early church. Instead of like ending slavery everywhere in the early Europe, what Christians mostly did was that they ended up buying the slaves and freeing them, and then it became this sort of culture of freed slaves, and the people that were selling them, it became less and less of a good thing. They pretty much gradually got rid of it as the church spread. Thusly, just a point of a little political rant here. A lot of people say, Trump is not pro-life enough for them. Trump is not who we need to be pro-life. He doesn't need to be pro-life. He needs to get the damn pagans out of the way so that you and I can get pro-life things done. He will help get the pagan government out of our way. That's why we need Trump. We don't need Trump to save souls or do the pro-life thing, or any of that. We need him to get the deep state and the pagans out of our way, because they're very oppressive in what they're doing, and they're hindering our efforts as the church. Anyway, that it's just fascinating that the kids came up with that. I was ready for a big fun battle, kill these guys, boom, 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 blow them up, use their 50 cal on them. But no, they said, no, we're going to buy the slaves. We're going to get out. We're not going to have to kill everybody, and we're going to go explore some more. That was a cool episode. I was like, whoa. And they decided they went back to the Forest Church, where they can get support now, and there's a whole game system I have, and it's in the rules. Just show you real quick here, where this church has a security roll, and it has health, like hit points. And I roll the security roll, and I have a table in the book, and it's a D12. Oh, it's a keep the highest. Oops, let me just correct this for my own benefit. It's a D12, D6, keep the highest. So I roll both of those and keep the higher number. And the higher the number, the better things they have going on. And they could even have a point where if they roll like up to 12, I don't know the exact number, but like they could gift the missionary something, like so they could get like a bonus item. And they have, and I just take notes here as to why they get hit points, or why their security goes up. They have secured doors. To me, that's okay. That increases one die rank. Adds a die rank. Water source, yeah. I think ×2. I think that, yeah. A workshop area, yeah. That definitely. There was a couple other things there. I forgot what they were. I didn't type them in, but they got health. Whenever they get certain things, that'll actually increase their health as well with the die 4 rule. Die 4, die 4, die 4. And the Forest Church, Church of the Wild is called. This one's a D12, D4, and it has a church health of 17. Just because of whatever they were given or gifted, and they got some security stuff as well. And yeah, so these churches are cool in that I, as a GM, can roll a little backstory for each one, like every couple of weeks or whatever. And if it gets a bonus, then they can contact them on radio and say, hey, we got some stuff for you, come and get it, or we would like to give you some stuff to go trade to the slavers and get them to stop slaving or whatever. Story, and they can keep building more and more churches. But as they do build these churches, I'm going to increase my, the empire awareness of them, so they could start attacking or, hindering the churches and weakening them. And then they have to deal with that. Now down here is another place they went and they fought some cool stuff. They didn't plant a church, but the church here has a fuel depot up in the mountains that they can, like a gas station that they can, start to use. So that's kind of like a little benefit bonus thing there that's going on. But over here they got this finale, one more episode I'm going to do with them, and let me show you real quick that map just so you can see what they've done already there. To northeast. So here they are, and they're basically going up this road up the mountainside, and there's it's like a big steep canyon. Kind of fun, cool thing. They drove here, they drove here. They had a gun battle with the vehicles here, 50 cals going back and forth, and rockets, and they took quite a bit of damage, but thankfully, their truck got lots of parts and did well. They ended up the 50 cal ended up killing some of the bad guys in this one, and it crashed it. But then the John ran over there and got the vehicle, and they had to tow it and all that. But they got it back over here and fixed it up. And there were some zombies back here they dealt with. But see, you got zombies, toxic zombies you can deal with. They know there's a little bit of a raiders up here, and there's of course slaves to get freed because they know there's slaves there. And they even fought a big beast that was hiding in the rocks here. That took out this truck, which they actually ignored or left it there, which surprised me. I thought they would come and check it out on foot because of the rough terrain, and then this beast would come out and get them. But since they had a gunfight up here, I had this big beast actually go up there, and then they shot it with the 50 cal and severely wounded it, so it's now back here, either dying or severely wounded. But a lot of fun, man, and one more finale for them playing this game. I just, for the Lord RPG, I'm trying to sell you all on it. Obviously I'm quite biased, but even if you don't like me and my game or for the Lord RPG, evangelism and church planting, man, that mechanic can be in your game. You got to have it in your game. And my Dark Ages game is free, so you can check out how I kind of broke it down there, the mechanics, and then this kind of just adds to it some other church stuff and church thing. But getting kids to have to respond to pagans and doing it in a fun game where they know they're in a safe place, they can work on it, they can make mistakes, they can say it in a way that it's not shameful, it's not, they do prayers, it's not, they can make mistakes and laugh at it. But that's the thing, then they're going to do it over and over in this game as they keep playing the game. Maybe even one of them is the GM and does all the pagan stuff, and sort of, so he understands how to counter argue and get them to figure out different ways to counter argue the points and stuff. We gotta spread the news of this game so that kids and adults and even adults can play a game where you articulate the gospel. You articulate it and you show how missionaries, even unto yourself, how missionary work works, and the choices you have to make, the tough choices you make, in a harrowing situation. And it reflects real life, this kind of thing, man. I mean, for them to buy the slaves and not attack their slave raiders was so fascinating to me, because that's exactly what I read about the early church fathers. Pope Gregory, he bought the slaves. He didn't go around ending slavery. He bought them. Because there wasn't enough of the culture yet to do that, to affect change. You have to. The church is the answer to all the problems that we're having, and the problems we're having today in the culture is because we don't have strong churches. And we need to get back to that. And what my little thing here is in the RPG culture, where we are being lulled to play as a pagan, act like a pagan, and think like a pagan in our game, and thusly in our life. A lot of Christians believe it is through their own works and their own boasting that they're good and they're going to be saved. That's not Christianity. Christianity is getting people to believe in Christ as their Savior and to have churches, and to spread churches and build those churches so that ministers can come in and pastors can come in and teach the people about the Word and about Jesus Christ and about Him being the way, the truth, the light, and the being saved through Him. So this game does that, and you get to have so much fun doing giant bugs and spiders and raiders and mutants and for the APOC and the Christians and sci-fi one. The Dark Ages one, you get giants in that one, you get dragons, you get and all that you can use in the sci-fi and the APOC one as well. All those assets, and all these and just so you know, all these things, all these little assets are in the game, they're available for the game. You can this is for virtual tabletop or for printouts. Now these big ones here are obviously me just stretching them out. All the printouts are fit on 8.5 by 11 paper. So these are not there. Just use a big paper bag if you want a big mountainside. But obviously, if you're on a table, you're not going to make this big of a mount, but you'll figure it out. Anyway, so I'm going to keep making these videos. I hope to help you guys understand how to play this game, how to GM this game. It's just I'm so sold on this, It's a very simple game to start with. You can make it simple, but then you can go on and expand out on it. And I'm ending the game, and one of the guy that got the war buggy, you know, he's like, oh man, I want to play this character. I want to keep playing this character. I got this war buggy now, and I want to, you know, be part of the team, and him, you know, using the war buggy. But so I'm like, well, you know, I'll give you all the info, give your dad all the info. He can continue on the game and enjoy yourselves, you know. So, and then they can work on the gospel. Man, I know I'm repeating myself, but I'm just thrilled about this. Anyway, so, you know, it takes work. It takes effort to be a grand minister, a game master, as a GM. It takes work. It takes a kind of a studious work to figure it all out. D&D is the same way, you know. All those games are the same. It takes a little effort for sure, and it's, for me, so fulfilling and wonderful and joyful, and it's just part of my DNA to be a GM. So, yeah, for the Lord RPG, getting kids to speak the gospel. So in the game of life, in the role-playing game culture, in the game of life, roll holy dice.